Achoo! Achoo!
Achoo.
Achoo! 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 Hachi! Pchik! Pchik! Hachi! Achi!
Are you getting ready to sneeze, B? Because. Oh! Go on.
There we go.
Biscuits and tea.
Think hard, think clear, think fast, and think thoughts. 34, period, 99.
Welcome in for another episode of Biscuits and Tea with Tyler back leading us off here, the professional goalkeeper. He's going to be leading us off today. Welcome in. It's coming in hot. Here we go.
In hot.
All right. First off, I want to say that Super Bowl was the biggest letdown, I think, of any Super Bowl that I've been alive for. One of the worst Super Bowls I've ever watched. But what was not boring was the parade that the Buccaneers had after. And Tom Brady, oh my gosh. Rev, you haven't seen any of this, have you? He was absolutely hammered. Like the whole destroyed. And I'm guessing it's probably a big factor is this is the first time he's been able to go on a parade and it's not 2 degrees outside.
Yeah, it's on a boat. They have boats. They're fucking taking boats around.
Boat? Yeah, they're taking boats around. And then Tom Brady. Paulus, can you play that video that I sent you?
So look what's in his hands.
Was that the Super Bowl? Or the trophy? Whatever. He's chucking the trophy? And he's just giggling about it, too.
He's just so drunk, too.
He's so wasted.
Oh god. Do you think it's the fake trophy? Do you think they have a fake trophy?
No,
than, like the real
that's
trophies?
you can hear if you play the audio in that. Listen, you can hear his kid yelling at him not to do it.
I mean, even if it went down to the bottom of the ocean, they would have deep sea dove that shit in no time.
Oh, they would have just. I mean, he just would go get another one next year, anyways. Before we go into the segue, I just want to mention that, in case anyone didn't notice, the Washington football team actually put up the best fight up against the Bucs out of any team in the playoffs.
Yeah, and you signed your quarterback to 2 year. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's interesting. I think you guys had a better offensive line than us, so I think that's kind of the key reason going to that game. What the big difference is, but anyways, speaking of money. Tom Brady has a lot of it. He doesn't make a lot of it because his wife makes all the money for him. But Jerry Jones, oh yeah, dude, she makes so much more money than him, and he's been taking discounts. That's how the Patriots have won all this time with the salary cap. But Jerry Jones, he also has a lot of money. You think Jerry Jones is investing in some Doge?
I bet you. As a matter of fact, on the DL, I think all of those people are investing in all of that stuff, and then they're telling everyone, this is a speculative market, and I don't think you should be investing in it. And then they go, hey, Bob, it's me. Put in another 100 mil in Doge and Bitcoin and Ethereum. And we've been doing this since 2010. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, this is new for me. I've just been learning about it. You guys are a little bit more into it than I am, but I'm guessing a lot of our listeners on the channel don't know a ton about Doge or crypto in general. So I don't know if there's an easy for dummies explanation real quick that you could break down, either one of you real quick.
Someone explain to me how mining works. I don't understand mining in the slightest.
I can kind of. So in order to get a Bitcoin and I don't know if this is happening necessarily on other, it is happening on other cryptocurrencies. However, mining happens because they have these computers set up to solve incredibly complex problems, essentially. And because they're set up to do this, there's a finite number of Bitcoin. Not all cryptocurrencies have a finite number. Some of them are, whatever. There's an infinite amount, or there can be more created,
Yeah, like the US dollar is infinite,
yes.
but Bitcoin is finite because there's only 21 million of those coins.
Yeah. I believe the term is inflationary and deflationary assets. So,
okay.
But yeah, so Tyler, they get these incredibly complex computers and supercomputers for some of them, and they're set up to automatically just solve these problems. And when they solve the thing correctly, it gives them a Bitcoin, or it gives them a portion of a Bitcoin, or you get whatever. and there's also rewards for moving things through the blockchain. That's a whole nother thing. But yeah, essentially that's it, Tyler. Mining means that there's a finite amount of Bitcoins. In order to get a Bitcoin, you have to solve a complex problem in order to get the Bitcoin. That's how more becomes available into the market. However, there's a finite amount of them in general. So once all the Bitcoins, yes, and it's going to stop in the year 2142 or something, or 2070, something. It's pretty far off. It's really far off, like outside of our lifetimes. And so because of that, it's considered to be, this decentralized finance community is calling it better than what we have now in this fiat system.
So what happens when there's 21 million Bitcoins and then it becomes like a kind of like a secondary currency, and then there's too many people to like fight over these Bitcoins now? You see, like if you're going to hit 21 million Bitcoins and our population will keep going up, 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 and eventually is there just going to be or I guess then the price would just go up and they're all just worth more.
Yeah, because it's just like more scarcity of the coins. That's the idea, I think.
Yeah, the fact that the coins are very scarce is what's causing them to be valued. There's a clear supply and demand thing going on for some of these digital currencies, and this is just becoming, because it's considered a better, you can't print more of it, so it's considered the store of value. It's considered to be the next gold.
So Bitcoin is obviously up to like 40,000 or something a share, and obviously so then Doge obviously was a fraction of a penny, like what, a month ago or less maybe, and now it got up to 8 cents, I think, but now today it's been sitting at like 6 or 7 cents. So obviously if people got in early, they're making good money on it. But should I this week buy $100 worth of Doge? What would you guys say on that? What do you think? Obviously we're not experts, but like, should people just be dumping their money into Doge right now if they don't have other investments or like other things that they're doing here? Is that a smart decision to do?
I think it's worth it just to at least dip your toes into cryptocurrency. Even if you lose it or whatever, it's $100 and you get some experience with what it is.
Okay, I agree with the end part of that statement. I disagree with the very beginning, because there's a time to get into any investment, and it is never when it is pumping, ever. It's never when it's pumping. If it's driving, it's going up, and you just have straight FOMO, then it is what it is. Miss out on that investment. There's a million investments nowadays. There's a million. It doesn't even have to be in the cryptocurrency world. You sit that one out, you let it cool off, and you buy back when it dips. You might miss out on dip for months with that specific asset, but it is what it is. But then at the end, when you're like, you just get into crypto, yeah, you're right. But I think not with Doge, because Doge doesn't do anything. Because each of these coins, for people that are in some sense new to it, they serve a purpose. And because they serve a purpose, you can choose a coin that will serve a purpose 10 years down the road. And now you're not trading or speculating. You're hoping that you've got a solid investment. So you can then get in to Doge if it actually was the thing that was going to solve cancer, you know? So.
Yeah, I mean, to wrap up Doge, I guess, just like in general, before we hop on, like we're going to be talking crypto about this guy who, obviously there's ways that you store this information, and there's some horror stories with it. But in terms of like Doge, why is it, like, what is up with this meme that's connected to, obviously it's all over the place on social media. Is that what's like pumping up the value, you guys think? Or do you think it's actually legitimate, like worth something, like worth money? Or is it just the hype right now?
Well, it's worth what people say it's worth and how many people use it. So at the moment, it is worth something. But if that hype dies down, then
it's hard to say that things that don't have intrinsic value. I mean, what is the value? I mean, gold isn't worth anything. It's worth something because we say it's worth something. We can use gold for other things. It gets used on, in electronics, I think, and different. It's a conductor of electricity, possibly, and stuff like that. Like it has. I think so. I think gold has some electrical properties. I think it has more. It has more use than just like, ooh, gold, or meme dog. Like that's. So yeah, but you're right. Like things are worth what people agree that they're worth.
Yeah. It's so freaking. It's just got to be. You got to have a good stomach to handle these investments over the next 20 years. I think with Bitcoin and how much it's going up, because if it can go up that much, it can go down that much, right? That's that's the idea. So Basically, yeah. Paulus, if you could pull up that horror stories of losing money. So I don't understand these digital wallets. Like I don't have like I just do if I buy into Bitcoin or Doge, I just do it through Robinhood, and obviously that's different than if like Will. Could you explain the difference of buying it through Robinhood and through wallet?
So when you buy Bitcoin or cryptocurrency on Robinhood, what you're actually doing is buying. You're not buying the underlying asset, which is an actual to have Bitcoin. So what's going to happen here, and I don't know this story that you've pulled up, but what you're doing on the other exchanges like Crypto.com or uh, Coinbase, any of these places that you actually are buying, and you will then own some Bitcoin or some Ethereum or whatever it is that you're buying, Doge, whatever. Uh, on Robinhood, you're just buying a thing that tracks Bitcoin. It tracks the price of Bitcoin. So you don't actually own anything. What happens to these people is that because it's a digital asset, if you want to take it for it to be safe, because an exchange can get hacked. If you buy it on crypto.com, someone could hack it and take all of their Bitcoin and you're left with nothing. So what you can do is buy Bitcoin on an exchange and then transfer it to what's called a cold wallet or a cold storage wallet. And what you do is you download essentially your Bitcoin or your money onto a little, looks like a USB drive. It's password protected, it's encrypted, it's incredibly secure, and it's offline. But the problem is that if you forget or lose the passwords, which is I'm happening, right? Is that what you're gonna?
And that's where we're at. Is that people have bought these and held on to them and safely secured them and done everything right the right way, and now as they want to cash out, they can't get into their wallet. So if you could scroll down a little bit, Paul. Yeah, so he had 7,000 Bitcoin. And basically he has guessed, I believe 8 out of the 10 times that he has to get this wallet open. If he doesn't guess the password correctly, he's going to lose a lot of money. A lot. So it looks like 220 mil is what he'll lose if he guesses this password's wrong 2 more times. The whole drive erases itself.
Oh my god! There's got to be a back door. I just don't trust these companies.
So say that wallet gets erased? Does those 7,000 go back to the 22 million? Who's keeping track of that?
So it all gets no, it's gone. Everything gets tracked on. So the way blockchain uh, technology works, everybody has a record of each transaction that goes on. So it's actually really incredible because people want to use blockchain technology also within voting. So rather than make it too complicated, but everybody sees the transactions, everybody sees what is happening. You don't it nothing you can't. So this guy loses that Bitcoin, it's gone. And people actually do things. You can what's called staking Bitcoin. You can hold it in an account that's going to give you money, kind of like a CD or something like this. You can understand that, and it's locked off of the market. Obviously, and that stuff is starting to happen more. But
No, I get that. I just mean when you said when there's a finite number, you said 22 million or whatever they decide. Does that 7,000 now do they say, "Oh, we can actually have 7,000." Do you get what I'm saying? Or when that 22 million isn't actually going to be 22 million. It's going to be less from people who lost.
exactly, exactly. People that lose coins, people that don't use them, people that hold them forever and ever and ever and ever. So it's actually a very finite resource. That's why they're calling it digital gold, is because there's only a finite amount of it. Yes, we can actually make gold, believe it or not, but yeah, it's finite. Like we're only going to get so much of it.
Yeah. So I was just trying to with this, it's on point. So of the existing 18.5 million Bitcoin, about 20% currently worth about 140 billion appear to be lost or otherwise stranded wallets, according to cryptocurrency data firm Chainalysis. So a lot of it is just sitting out on these wallets. A lot of it's not being used. A lot of it may not be able to get access. That's an insane amount of money that's just sitting around doing nothing. And that's what worries me the most about cryptocurrency in general, is that for a currency to be viable, it has to be used. And Bitcoin obviously is being used more, and it's being, a lot more wealthy people are using it for purchases. And There's a lot of obviously articles about how it's being used in crime because it's untraceable and yada yada yada. But Doge, for example, people can't just buy it, everybody just hold on to it. Otherwise, it's not going to appreciate in value. You have to be using Dogecoin for it to increase in value. So that's like my biggest concern about Doge compared to Bitcoin, I guess. But we can wrap up this little conversation on cryptocurrency after we kind of discuss that, I guess.
I don't think that's a huge concern. If like everyone's holding it and yeah, the value's going up and up and up, like yeah, I'm gonna use an eighth of a Bitcoin to go like buy a car. Like I'm just and then you're like, what, this was worth before, even though the value is going like this was worth $500 when I got it, now it's worth like 10,000. Like it just I think people as it goes up, like people need money. It's not like everyone here is just sitting on enough money where they're going to come to points where yeah, they're going to need to count that as like their their savings, and they're actually going to be forced to spend it.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. I mean, to a certain degree, yeah, you are 100%. People are going to take some of their Bitcoin off. They're going to take profits and they're going to move them into other things, especially as we have more mainstream adoption of Bitcoin, which is what's happening. I was just going to say, shout out to Crypto Casey.
Yes. I've been watching her. She's good. Crypto
Casey, we love your work. We love your stuff, and we'll get a crypto expert on here, and
we'll figure out exactly how much we need to invest, where we need to invest it, and when we're going to be able to get our return. Goloremi has got you rich. People are a little upset with Elon. People are not very happy that he's pushing it and promoting it, and they're saying that there's like ethical issues because it's giving people false hope. They're going to be investing in it and they're going to lose all their money because they trust Elon. But interested to see what you guys think, because obviously you made a comment like you're saying old time bakers, investors are saying don't invest in this, it's risky. But then when they go home at night, they're going home and buying Bitcoin and Doge.
That's pretty stupid. I mean, isn't any investment because you trust whoever's in charge is gonna like, come on, like I'm not gonna invest in someone's company and then have it like I trust it's gonna go up, it's gonna increase, or else you're not gonna invest in it.
Yeah, no, I don't. Cool. He's a respected member of our society. He's our Albert Einstein. People will look back at this eccentric dude and they'll look back the same way they looked at Einstein for all the stuff that he wants to do. He's in the middle of literally, my dad sent me a video today of Elon creating a space rocket, the same rocket that's going to take us to Mars in 2024. He wants to use for public transportation to get you from London to New York in 22 minutes.
I'm sorry, how is that public transportation?
Yeah, he wants to make this. He wants to make this a thing. Yeah, and also Singapore to Dubai in 24 minutes, like Australia to somewhere else in 30 minutes. And you would go to the place. It would take a boat out to the middle of the ocean, shoot up out of there straight. You'd be weightless for a split second, and then you would land at the spot that you're doing. And this is all like in under half an hour. And he's promised that it will cost the same amount of a commercial airline ticket. Boom. What do you say about that? And he's starting it in the next 6 months. He's starting building it. I think it's SpaceX, his other company. One of his other.
Is this, first off, who's going to regulate this?
Elon already regulates everything himself. He's already working with all the governments. He's the same dude that wants to put a tube under LA to Mexico. And there's no regulation. They do whatever they want. Are you ready to sneeze, B? Because oh! Come on.
There we go.
We got to go find that clip from last time.
That was a good one. I was going to hold it in because I had that on the podcast. And I was like, I'm going to sneeze. I don't want to sneeze in while they're talking. But then it felt good to let it out. Thank you. Thanks for allowing me to express my sneeze. Take that docket and put it in your docket.
Yeah, put that shit in your docket. This cryptocurrency solved by the B team.